Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here. We're going to start another project. So I'm not quite sure if this is going to be before the scrapbook one or after. But what I'm doing is I'm starting multiple projects. So based off of the digital downloads that I showed, the kits, showing other alternatives than to, if you don't want to coffee dye your papers, if you basically if you don't want to coffee dye your papers, I mean, you can still do that, but I mean, if you don't have stamps to stamp on the pages, if you want something that's already created, beautiful digital downloads are available. So I will link, probably up there as my fingers are doing the wiggle dance, to the video that I showed all of the different kits that I had come across and just could not resist. One of them was from a website called Dreams, etc. And her name is Jennifer, and she does absolutely beautiful work. So one of her digitals I am actually going to start. Now this one's going to be really different. Now I already have the packs made up. Meaning my packs of paper. I haven't sewn the signature yet. I know a lot of people like to see the signatures sewn. So this is going to be one book. This is actually going to be a gift for my sister, so hopefully she's not watching because I only have one sister and now she'll know. So, it's alright. So she had given me this book, and what it was one of those books that had the sheets for the photos. Okay, so heads up on this, those pages that hold the plastic films, let me get you one that is like that. I have one right here. Okay, now wait a minute. If I don't hold on to that, it's going to tilt. All right, there we go. So it's one of these, where you have the two pages and you have this piece of like plastic there. Well, clue, or heads up, whatever we want to say, she had given me these and they were sitting where I work because I just always forget to bring things home. Well, when I got them here and because I was going to tear these out, they fell out. Let's just say that. I mean, they crinkled so bad. They just literally disintegrated. Oh, please let me apologize for my fingers. You can tell I was coffee dyeing. I have hand sanitizer hands, so oh my goodness, it's just so bad. But these literally just fell out. So I already have the holes. This is going to be a 3 signature book, but I thought this was perfect for the black Swan digital print. Now I was toying with, should I coffee dye it, should I not? It was a tough decision. I decided to go with the coffee dye. And then there's other bright pages in here as well. Now at one point my sister had also given me the music sheet from the Nutcracker. She had found this in her house, the Nutcracker Suite. So I took this apart and figured, okay, I'm going to put this in here. My sister is a huge fan and used to be a ballerina. She took lessons from the time she was young, and then she was in a couple of shows. So, again, we've just taken this. Okay, this is actually last. And this actually has to be in the middle because of the way that I've got the pages going. But you know what? That's okay because we're going to do this. I need the black Swan. So I have that in here too. So that's kind of the white that's going to take off. I've got some parchment paper in here. I've got some 11 or 8.5 by 14 copy paper in here so that I can have a fold. I've got some tracing paper. I didn't trim anything down. I'm keeping it the original size. of what it is. I've got a piece of a dictionary in here, and then there is our center. So I have these 3 packets already set. Now, again, these are going to be odd shaped. So I'm going to do the double cardstock sleeve. So let's do that first. I'm going to show you the double cardstock cover that I do, and then I will show you how to sew these signatures. Hopefully it won't take too much time. So let me get my cardstock together, which is right here actually. And I've already done half of them because I do want you, I know a lot of people say they really like to see the sewing of the signature. So I just want to make sure I have that in there because I have the funny feeling it's 3 and it's going to take me forever. I'm just saying. Okay. So I've got 2 that are going to be 6 inches wide with a 4-inch overhang. Okay. So 6 inches wide, 4-inch overhang, and they're kept at 8.5. So again, I'm going to grab my scoreboard and I'm going to go at 4. And then I'm going to do this one while I'm at it as well. And I'm going to make sure that these are folded correctly and well creased. Got to make sure that we have that crease because when these cross over, all right, now the reason why I have this so big is because I want this pocket on the inside to be bigger, but I don't want the crossover on the outside to be as big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to trim off 2 inches. And we'll save that strip. Okay, so there we go. And what I'm going to do is I am going to use my sewing machine and I'm going to sew right down this edge here. Okay, I know it's black paper, you can't see it. And I think I'm actually still going to use my white. So I'm going to do that also with this one. Because it's actually, I'm going to do, it's almost like I'm doing 3 individual signatures in one book. All right, now I'm going to take this out, and I think I'm going to keep that one like that. So each one will be different. Okay, now this one. So this one's going to be standing or jotting out just a little bit more, but I'm going to do the same thing. I want to score this at 4. And then I'm going to make sure I've got a good hard crease there. And I am going to cross it. There we go. Now, what I do want to do, I want to trim that center one. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch off of each one here. Okay. So you can see just by my thought process, I am just literally winging this. This is just an idea that I came up with, and I'm really hoping that it'll come together. Now, even if it doesn't, we'll figure out a way for it to. Oops. All right, and hopefully that was straight. All right, so same thing. I want that's going to be on my inside. This is going to go first. This is going to go here. All right, so now I will be right back and I'll show you what I did. It's just going to be simple zigzag stitch going across just the front because I want the pockets. Well, that one's going to be on the front. That one's actually going to be a pocket. So I'm actually not going to sew. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to sew on the bottom here because I want those both to be pockets. And you know what? Yep. Okay, so these are both pockets. And then these are both going to be pockets as well. Okay, so I will be right back. Okay, I am back. So again, it's like my individual signatures, and I'm going to do 3 of them within this. Okay, so this is going to be the first one. So I just sewed down that whole thing, and then I also went around the front. This will be able to be a back pocket. Now for right now, I'm letting all of this hang out, and I'm going to make sure this is sitting in there. Now what I will need to make sure too, and what I'm lining up, is this outside page here. So I just need to make sure that this is set in the middle, because this is what's going to line up on that. And of course, yeah. All right, so that when this sits in here, there won't be anything hanging out. Now, what I can do too, the problem is there's some things what I'm doing, and I'm shaking the camera, I know. So if I put everything to the bottom like that, now that's a possibility too. And I may just like that, because then I can actually and I would just take that and match that in there. Okay. Yes. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, what I'm also going to do here is I want to see what hits that line. And I think everything's going to look wonderful. Okay, so basically that's a 1/2 inch. So now what I'm going to do is, and again, I'm going to do this off camera just to save some time. So what I'm going to do is, with this open, I'm going to get to the first piece that's there, and I'm going to flip that out. I'm going to move that up and off to the side, and I'm going to put this here. And now what I need is one of my long rulers. And I'm going to line this up and just roughly take this and tear it. Again, not looking for perfection. So it's giving me that rough edge. And then I'm going to put that in the book. I'm going to flip this back. I'm going to put that back in there. And I'm just keeping everything flat. So I know this. Needs to have a 1/2 inch off as well. And again, so not looking for it to be perfect. And we'll put that there. All right, so that is what I am going to do to each book, and we'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so here are the 3. So trim them down. They can stick out across the top because I'm going to have things that are going to overflow on it. So I'm okay with that. I just don't want anything coming off of the bottom so much. I mean, I may center point those, but all right, here we go. So I've got my templates. I've got my bulldog clips because you got to have those. And I'm going to grab my needle. And for today's project, I am going to use the black wax thread. Now I'm going to need 3 of these, so I'm just going to automatically cut these. Again, 3 lengths is usually good. And then I just always pull out a little bit more in case I want some tails to come across. So I'm just going to get 3 of these ready. So 1, 2, 3, and a little more. Now you can use whatever you want. 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more. You can. I like to also use Pearl Cotton 5. You just want to make sure that it is going to be strong and it's going to withstand the times that we're turning our pages. You know, doing this sewing here, we've got to make sure that it can withstand that. So I've got my big Mahamba book here so that I can puncture through. And what we want to do now is get our center lined up. I'm going to grab one of my templates. Of course, that's going to take me forever. Okay. Now again, these templates are going to be a little bit longer because they're set at 9 instead of 8. Which is fine. And now I'm just going to set my bulldog clips in place here. I always go catty corner to each other. And I just make sure when I bend it that it looks like it's all going in the right direction, and honestly this is not. So again, I take the bend and then I clip. I really want to make sure that bend is in place. And then I'll just set these over here. But I really do like to take a little bit and just bend it into place. To me, I think it just sets it a little bit better. All right. Now, I'm going to do that to each of these as well. All right, so again, just trying to save some time, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have all of them grouped, and now I'm going to use my awl, and I'm going to puncture these holes. Now, I've already done that on my binder that I'm putting these in, or that I'm using to put these in. And I know I'm shaking the camera, so I apologize. But again, I'm going to turn it over, and I'm just going to make sure that I've gone through. And I will make sure that these are just a little bit bigger, only because it's black. And lots of shadows are going on right now with those. All right, next. Just going to do all of these. Again, I'm making sure that the book is going down into the nook or the crevice of the book that I'm puncturing into, so that I'm going straight through and I'm not coming off on an angle. So see how I'm down onto those folds. And again, I'm just going to make sure these are a little bit bigger than normal. So that it will be easier when I'm moving these around. Last one. Last hole. And yep, I'm right along that bend. And again, just making sure that these are big enough, because it's going to be interesting when I go to sew these into this. So I have my holes, and I know you won't be able, well, maybe you will, so they're right there. All right, so now I've got to find which one was the last one. I need to make sure that my papers are all facing the same way, because that would be absolutely horrible if they weren't. Okay, so I think this one that one's my center one. I need the one for the back. Again, I'm going to make sure all my papers. Yes. Yes. Looking for the ones with writing because it makes it easier. Okay. So, here we go. So, I'm going to turn this. I have my needle ready. Now, remember, I'm going to go down and I'm going to come through the book as long as I can find the hole. There we go. Okay, this is probably going to be difficult for everybody to say. So I'm going to do my best here. So I'm going to come up through and I'm going to save a tail. All right, now I'm going to come up through the next hole in the binder, which is right there. And as I'm coming through, I'm going to bend. Okay. So let's pull this. I'm going to bend the book and I'm going to go right into that hole. And by bending it, I find I go right through all of the papers. And I don't go in between, if that makes sense. There we go. Just got to be patient, which sometimes I just don't have. I do not have patience. Now, I'm okay if this is going to be loose, okay, because I can tighten this up. So now that I've come up, now I'm going to go back down through. And again, I'm going to find the hole that's in the binder. And I'm going to pull it through. Okay. Now, what I need to do is come back into this one. So I'm going to come back in. And again, I want to make sure that I'm not grabbing the threads of the wax. Threads there. I want to try not to cross them. So I'm going to have some tension. So now I want to go back in to that hole there and pray I can do this. And wow, I did. Okay. Now, the problem is I did cross the thread. Now, how can I fix that? Well, what I can do is, since it's wax thread, if I pull it, I can find that hole. And I can bring my needle right back through it. And I will, and there you go. See how I was able to break that? I was able to get that so that it wasn't crossing. And now what I'm doing is I'm just putting some tension in on this, because now I'm going to cross over and I'm going to come in through here. So I'm going to bend it just a little bit and I'm going to find the hole in the book. Note to self, don't ever do black again. It's going to be beautiful, and I'm absolutely going to love it. Okay, so now that I went through there, now I'm going to come back in through the top, which is right here. And I'm going to find the top in my book, which is right there. And I want to make sure I'm going straight in. And there we go. So see, it came right through. And now I'm going to pull. And as I'm sitting here and I've got my tension going, I do want to make sure that I'm keeping that as I'm going. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back out, hoping I don't cross the threads. coming out. And it's got a good hold, but it's also all the wax from the thread that's on my fingers there. And I'm going to pull that, make that taut. And now I'm going to turn this, because now I'm going back into the center. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my signature like this. I want that cupped together, and I'm going to go straight down. And I'm going to hope that I'm going straight into my signature center. And when you hear me scream, you'll know that I've been successful. That scream is going to be me getting stabbed by the needle. And my needle is somewhere in there. I can't believe that is really tight. So you can see why I was making those holes a little bigger. Now I know I'm right in there. There we go. I'm going to use my table to help me push down. There we go. And then we're going to put this over here. All right, I'm going to remove these clips. And again, you pull straight up to get your tension. Okay, let's see here. How can I get that? For some reason I've lost my tension with that. So again, now I'm just playing to make sure that these all get nice and taut. And you can see that's what happens when you cross the threads. You get this knot. Now again, how can I fix that? I get my needle, I can rethread it. So that's what was giving me trouble as I was trying to sew through that last hole to come back up into the center. So again, I'm looking to see what else I can weave back out. And there you go. Wax thread is extremely strong, so it is more forgiving than a regular thread that you would use. Now again, I'm just gonna, now I'm gonna do the same thing. This one's to the front, I'm pulling it through, going there, to the front again, coming through, and tying my knot. Going to keep those tails, not quite sure what I'm going to do with those, and I'm going to tear out my template. I am going to do that for the other two pieces. So now I'm going to start with this one, and then I'm going to go into this one. So once I have these done, I'll be back and be able to show you what this looks like. So black is awesome, these colors, but it is very difficult to say, very much so. So that's part of the problem, but you can see how that's just going to nestle in there. This is going to have more papers than normal, because I'm one, I like to just have lots of papers in there for people to journal. So I will be right back once I get these other two in. Okay. Okay, so I just have one more signature to put in, and I wanted to make sure that you saw that. Again, you kind of get into the feel on how these go in. Again, patience is key. All right, now what I do find, because again, with this color it being so dark, what I am finding that does help is to make sure that these holes through the signature are really, really enlarged. So I am literally just pushing it together and making sure I'm pushing that all through. Not all the way, but just making sure that they are just a little bit larger than normal. Because I did that on the second one, and it was a breeze, of course, because I wasn't filming. So now that I'm going to be filming, this one's going to be annoying as well. Okay, so now let's make sure I've got these in the right spot, and I do, meaning going the right way. So, again, I start in the center, I come out, I'm going to find the hole, and I'm going to go through. And I'm going to pull. And I'm going to make sure I leave a tag. Or a tail, sorry. I'm going to come around. I'm going to go, now I'm going to go this way, inside, into the inside of the book. And I think I'm about to lose, no. There we go. Let me make sure that tail's there. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip these to each other so that they'll stay. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to come into the book. I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to push down. And I'm going to go straight in. And there it is. All right, so now I'm going to come up. I'm not worried about tension right now, and I will keep turning this because now I'm going to go back through the book. So I'm going to bend this, and I'm going to find the hole in the book. Which is right there. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to pull this through. I'm now going to come back in to this one. So I'm going to make sure that this is pulled over this way, and I'm going to come into that because I really don't want to cross the fibers. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to push down, open it up, and there I am. I'm right there again. I'm going to come back up. I'm going to turn this. I'm going to cross over the center. And now I'm going to go into here and find the hole in the book, which is right there. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to pull. Again, not worried about tension yet, especially on the last one. I'm going to come up to this top. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to just push that down just a little bit to make it even with where my needle is, so that when I go into the book, I'm not crossing those pages. And there it is. I'm going to turn. And now I'm going to come back out. And again, I don't want to cross. You can see I still have lots of loose tension going on here. And here, I'm just going to go back through that hole. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to pull out. And now I'm going to go back into the center. And I'm going to push down. And didn't make that one. All right, so I'm going to come back out a little bit more. I'm going to push my book just a little bit to get it even with my needle. Find that hole. And there I am. All right, now I want to make sure this is over here, so I'm going to get that over there. All right, now we need to focus on our tension. And look at that, I was caught on that. So now I'm going to pull, and now we've crossed the threads, which is fine. Pull on that. Sometimes when you cross the threads, sometimes it's okay because you didn't cross anywhere else. So you can see I only crossed there, which is fine. So I should be able to just, there you go. Yay! Now, what I need to do is get this one on this side. So again, you pull straight up, pull straight up. And I'm just going to check the tension back here. I got a little bit of looseness going on in here, so I need to pull on that. Again, got that, and we got that. And the reason why we have that is because I crossed the threads. So we're just going to work it through. Just remember, as you're doing this, how you thread, and then you'll be able to take those steps. So now I know this one here, I just need to pull that way, and then I should be able to pull this way. And pull that way. And we'll check the tension again. And it's perfect. So again, go over, pull it through, tie the knot, go over, pull it through the other way, and then tie that knot as well. And again, we're going to let that hang. I'm going to remove those. Here we go, and we'll have those come down there. So this is the start of the Black Swan. I will have those, I will more than likely just have charms coming off of those. And then you can see how they are just nestled into this. I've got plenty of room on the side here for tabs. And when you open it, you just have all of these wonderful pieces of paper in here that we will have loads of fun filling up with more ephemera, pockets, and tucks, and everything else. So, you can see that it's not always easy to tie in a signature. First one. You can see that once you get going with it, it does get easier with the second one. Okay? So, in the next one, you'll see we'll make some ephemera, pockets, and everything else. So you will see the Black Swan, absolutely come together as we continue to create this. So I hope gave you some few tricks. I hope you were able to see that. I'll be able to see it when I edit this. This color is just really tough. But I was determined to stick with the black that came with it. My journals will always expand like that, but then once they tie down, you can always scrunch it down so that it will sit in a bookshelf just fine. So I will make sure that the digital download that I used to Dreams, etc. By Jennifer, and this is the Black Swan, is linked down below. If you have any questions, please make sure you leave those down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Today's actually a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania. The sun is out. It's absolutely beautiful, warm, and it's not raining. So wonderful things can happen. I hope each and every one of you are staying safe and healthy along with your friends and family. But remember what is most important to me, and it's actually helping me to get through this challenging time. Always be creative. Till next time.